Volodymyr Zelensky is the best president in history in Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky, also spelled Volodymyr Zelensky, born January 25, 1978, KRYVYYRIH, Ukraine, USSR, now in Ukraine, Ukrainian actor and comedian who was elected president of Ukraine in 2019. Although he was a political novice, Zelensky's anti-corruption platform won him widespread support, and his significant online following translated into a solid electoral base. He won a landslide victory over incumbent Petro Poroshenko in the second round of the 2019 presidential election. President Zelensky's leadership during the Russian invasion of Ukraine won him global acclaim. Early life and career as an entertainer. Zelensky was born to Jewish parents in the industrial metropolis of KRYVYYRIH in southern Ukraine. When he was a small child, his family relocated to Erdenet, Mongolia, for 4 years before returning to KRYVYYRIH, where Zelensky entered school. Like many people from Ukraine's Dnipropetrovsk region, he grew up as a native Russian speaker, but he also acquired fluency in both Ukrainian and English. In 1995, he entered KRYVYYRIH Economic Institute, the local campus of Kyiv National Economic University, and in 2000 he graduated with a law degree. Although Zelensky was licensed to practice law, his career was already headed in a different direction. While still a student, he had become active in theater, and this would become his primary focus. In 1997, his performance group, Kvartal 95, Quarter 95, the neighborhood in central KRYVYYRIH where Zelensky spent his childhood, appeared in the televised finals of KVN, Club Veselik Inakachevik, Club of the Funny and Inventive People, a popular improvisational comedy competition that was broadcast throughout the Commonwealth of Independent States. Zelensky and Kvartal 95 became regulars on KVN, and they appeared on the program until 2003. That year Zelensky co-founded Studio Kvartal 95, a production company that would become one of Ukraine's most successful and prolific entertainment studios. Zelensky would serve as artistic director of Studio Kvartal 95 from the company's creation until 2011, when he was named general producer of the Ukrainian television channel InterTV. Zelensky left InterTV in 2012, and in October of that year he and Kvartal 95 concluded a joint production agreement with the Ukrainian network 1+1. That network was owned by Ihor Kolomoisky, one of the wealthiest people in Ukraine, and the relationship between Zelensky and Kolomoisky would become the subject of scrutiny when Zelensky declared his intention to enter politics. In addition to working in television during this period, Zelensky appeared in a number of feature films, including the historical farce Rzewski vs. Napoleon, 2012, and the romantic comedies 8 First Dates, 2012, and 8 New Dates, 2015. Servant of the People and Path to the Presidency. In 2013, Zelensky returned to Kvartal 95 as artistic director, but his entertainment career would soon intersect with the seismic events rocking Ukraine's political landscape. In February 2014, the government of Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych was toppled after months of popular protests, and that May billionaire Petro Poroshenko was elected president of Ukraine. With a Russian-backed insurgency raging in eastern Ukraine and endemic corruption undermining public confidence in government, Poroshenko struggled to enact even modest reforms. It was against this backdrop that Servant of the People premiered on 1+1 in October 2015. Zelensky was cast as Vasily Goloborodko, an everyman history teacher who becomes a viral internet phenomenon after a student films him delivering an impassioned and profanity-laden address against official corruption. The show was a massive hit, and Goloborodko's unlikely path to the presidency of Ukraine would provide something of a roadmap for Zelensky. In anticipation of that move, in 2018 Kvartal 95 officially registered Servant of the People as a political party in Ukraine. With the Ukrainian economy stalled and Poroshenko's approval rating approaching single digits, it seemed likely that the 2019 presidential election would be a repeat of the 2014 contest, with the incumbent facing Orange Revolution veteran Yulia Tymoshenko. Instead, more than 36 candidates entered the race, and Zelensky emerged as one of the frontrunners virtually from the moment of the declaration of his candidacy. That announcement was made on 1+1 on December 31, 2018, preempting Poroshenko's annual New Year's address. The provocative move raised questions about the involvement of 1+1 owner Kolomoisky in Zelensky's campaign. Kolomoisky, formerly a staunch Poroshenko ally, had been living in self-imposed exile since June 2017, after Poroshenko nationalized Privatbank, a financial institution that Kolomoisky had co-founded. Kolomoisky was accused of stealing billions from Privatbank, Ukraine's largest lender, and the Ukrainian government was forced to inject more than $5.6 billion into the too-big-to-fail company to keep it afloat. Presidency of Ukraine. On April 21, Zelensky was elected president of Ukraine with an impressive 73% of the vote. Within days, the president-elect faced his first foreign policy challenge, when Putin announced his decision to offer Russian passports to the Ukrainian citizens in separatist-controlled areas of war-torn eastern Ukraine. The Russian-backed hybrid war there was entering its fifth year, and hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians had been displaced by the conflict. Zelensky ridiculed the offer, responding with a Facebook post that extended Ukrainian citizenship to Russians and others who suffer from authoritarian or corrupt regimes. Early challenges and snap election. On May 20, 2019, Zelensky was sworn in as president. He used his inaugural address, which he delivered in a mix of Russian and Ukrainian, to call for national unity and to announce the dissolution of the Verkhovna Rada, Supreme Council. This move was politically necessary. His presidential victory did not confer a legislative mandate, as servant of the people did not occupy any parliamentary seats. Snap elections were held on July 21, and Zelensky himself characterized the contest as maybe more important than the presidential election. Servant of the People won an absolute majority, capturing 254 of 450 seats, 26 seats, representing Crimea, a Ukrainian autonomous republic that was illegally annexed by Russia in 2014, and the war zone in the east, were not contested. The result marked the first time in Ukraine's post-Soviet history that a single party could command absolute control over the legislative agenda. While Zelensky worked to build his new administration, ties to his former business partner again became the subject of scrutiny. Kolomoisky's media empire had provided a valuable platform for Zelensky during the presidential campaign, but Zelensky vowed that no special favors would be granted by his office. Kolomoisky himself had returned to Ukraine just days before Zelensky's inauguration. The billionaire stated that he would not act as a grey cardinal, directing policy from behind the scenes.